If you're stuck at 6 figures per year, it is not because you're not working hard enough. It is because you are working on the wrong things. I used to think scaling meant working longer hours and putting more effort into everything than everyone else. Then I built one simple daily system that doubled my output and took my business from 6 figures a year to 7. And it's kept growing for 3 years straight. This is the exact routine I've given to over 400 clients and makes me over $100,000 a month every single month. So yes, it's different niches, different offers, but it's the same result, more revenue and less chaos. And no, this isn't another wake up at 5 a.m. and hustle harder morning routine. This is the set of daily actions that actually move the needle, the stuff that creates consistent demand, closes high-ticket clients, and still leaves you with a real life outside of your business. So if you're done feeling stuck and you're ready to take back control of your growth, I'm gonna walk you through the exact routine I use so you can copy it step by step. Because the problem isn't how hard you're working right now, it's that your calendar is full of low leverage work, so let's fix that. Most coaches are spending 80% of their time on tasks that don't even generate revenue. They're spending like 3 hours on an Instagram reel, 5 hours a week on coaching calls. And listen, that stuff is important, but it's not going to be the actual actions that grow your business. You're stuck in just maintaining and fulfilling for the current business. So here's what nobody tells you about scaling to 100K a month consistently. And that is, it's all about doing the right things at the right time. You see, at 10K a month and 20K a month and 30K a month, I was on every sales call myself, inside of every single Instagram DM, creating every post and coaching every client. And even though that would be the most ideal world, that is literally impossible. And this is why businesses get stuck. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to ask yourself, where is my business currently at? So I see businesses grow in 3 different phases. Phase number 1 is the 0 to 100K a year. Then I see it phase number 2 as 100K a year to 250K a year. Then from there, I see 250K a year to $1 million a year. And you might think, wow, that's a huge jump. But this is actually how businesses grow and scale consistently across the board. So first, let's get started with 0 to 100K a year. The problem at this level is that your offer is not validated. So you have no idea if people actually want the thing you're selling, and you're struggling to see if they're actually gonna buy it consistently. So after you make your first sale, it's validated, it's proven, people do want this, but then you have to ask yourself, can I get to 6, 7, 8 sales a month? So when you're getting to your first 100K a year, what I need you to focus on is actually the daily routine of making a banger offer. So the way that I think about this is when I realized that my business really was not scaling, I actually stripped it back down and I started over. I spent 30 days building my high ticket signature offer, which is the same one you see today. It was just version 1, and now we're on to version maybe 4 or 5. So what I need you to do is I need you to actually spend your time on your messaging, your packaging, and your big promise statement. What are you actually going to help people achieve? So what does a daily routine look like? Well, in the long-term scale, what you need to do is you need to actually build a foundation. So that's one signature high-ticket offer, and that's one simple selling system, and then one daily routine of consistent actions to get you there. So let's just say, right, you have your offer, you have content, you have a brand, all that. What should you be doing on the day-to-day? Well, first things first, everybody at every level needs to do deep work. I think maximum 4 hours a day, but if you can even get 1 hour a day, that is amazing, and I'd be really happy with that. So the first thing I want you to do when you're waking up in the morning is your deep work. So this is where you're building your offer, you're working on your messaging, you're building maybe some elementary beginner level systems. Then after that, you have to jump right into lead generation. So call this DMs, call this audience building, call this nurturing, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. It's lead generation. How do you get people from seeing your content to actually getting to you dropping your offer in front of them, whether that's on a sales call, that's on a webinar? So you need to spend like a minimum of 90 minutes a day in your DMs. And I don't know why this is so crazy to people to do this, because realistically, you need to spend time in your Instagram DMs because that is where all of the money is living. You have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in your DMs right now. And if you haven't yet, you have to click the first link in the description where I'm going to send you my 28-page DM to sales playbook so you can learn exactly how to do this. Now back to the daily routine. So after you're in your DMs, then you need to actually create space for sales calls. So you have to give yourself at least 2 to 3, maybe 4 hours a day where you have slots to take sales calls. But remember, you can't just be sitting there wondering when people are going to book a call with you. You have to make sure the DMs are leading to that. So then you jump out of the DMs, you get on a few calls, and you do that. Now, your coaching and your fulfillment should really only take you a couple hours a week because you followed my system on how to create your high ticket offer in a way that's scalable. So at the stage where you're getting to 100K a year, you need to work on making an amazing offer, and then from there, DMs and sales. So now let's fast forward a bit. Let's say you have some sales, you've gotten to 10K a month, you just follow that same routine and that same strategy. How do you actually get from 100K a year to 250K a year? So I want us to go through the filter of more, better, new. So at this point in time, you literally just need to do more. So you're doing the same thing. You're doing your deep work in the morning, then you're doing your DM messaging, you're doing your sales calls, and you are fulfilling for your clients. But at this level, you might actually want to be making your program a little bit better. So you might be moving it out of beta into your next version. You want to actually get feedback and testimonials and actually use that social proof as a flywheel and put that in the front end marketing. So at this level, your daily routine kind of looks the same, but it's just a little bit better. So now we want your close rate to be a little bit higher on your sales calls. Maybe you brought someone in to help you with DM messaging and managing your inbox because you have so many leads with our content strategy. So what I want you to be thinking about at this level is like, you just need to do more, but more better. So now you're like, okay, well, this is great. I've done more, I've done better, I'm booked out with sales calls, and you're kind of just capped to the brims. To be honest, that's probably a lot of people watching this video right now, where you're feeling like you're so ready and you're ready to do the next thing, but what starts to happen is your business starts to break at around $25,000 a month. And the reason why I know this is because I was stuck here for way too long, like well over a year. And then something crazy happened to me. I went from $25,000 a month to my first $60,000 cash month. And what happened was I didn't just get a little bit better, I got extremely better. I became excellent at DMs and content and sales, and it was all flowing. So why was I empty inside and honestly a little bit miserable? I remember this exact moment. I was in Toronto, Canada with my now fiance, and we were sitting at the breakfast table, and he was talking to me about something, and he must have been on like a 3 to 5 minute rant, and he was so excited. His eyes were gleaming. I could feel his energy, and I just sat there and I broke down crying, and I was like, Marcos, I am so sorry, but I do not have capacity. My cup is not just full, it is overflowing, and I literally cannot even breathe. But if I pulled up my Stripe account, if I pulled up my bank account, I had everything I ever wanted. So why was I miserable and unhappy? Because this business model was not scalable. So what I actually had to do was actually strip it down and then build it back up. So after that, what I did was I put these next systems in place and I built this new routine. Over the next 90 days, my income went from 60K a month in March 2023 back down to 20K, but then up to 40K, then 90K, then 100K a month thereafter. So what did I do over those 90 days? And this is the secret routine to get you to 100K a month in your business. So first, you have to understand that you have to get the basics right. And I had that when I had 60K a month. I was doing my content, I was doing my DMs, I was doing my sales calls, and I was doing my fulfillment. The problem was it could not scale beyond me. So the very first person I hired was somebody to help me with my leads. So what they did was they supported me in my DMs, and this person is typically called an appointment setter. So what they help you do is they help you book the sales calls directly onto your calendar. So now you're just focused on doing the sales yourself. So this is actually what we call our CASH system. It stands for content, audience, sales, and high class experience. So the very first hire I made was for my audience and lead generation and appointment setter. After I nailed that and I saw consistent calls in my calendar, then I went ahead and I hired a salesperson. So now I had somebody taking the calls for me. Then in the third step, in the third month, I hired a coach. So now I had a DM person, I had a salesperson on the calls, and I had a coach helping me fulfill. So now I was just spending most of my time on content. But it's not all butterflies and rainbows, and nobody's probably going to tell you this except for me, but this is where you actually have to start learning how to manage a team and be a leader. So at this point, your day-to-day no longer looks like you doing the DMs and you doing the sales calls and you do the coaching. It actually looks like managing people to do those things. Now, everybody has a different threshold. For me, it was $60,000 a month, and I was breaking at the brims. And then later on, I think you can get help with content and stuff like that, but it's not super urgent because with my 2-hour-a-week content system, which you can find in the description and so many of my other videos, with that system, you genuinely don't need to hire a lot of content help because it's super easy. You need to mostly hire help around the sales aspect. So at this point, you're still doing your deep work, but you're also adding on some team meetings. For example, a daily sales huddle. Maybe instead of doing all the one-on-one coaching calls inside your program, you switch to more of a group coaching model. So your coach does the onboarding calls, but you host a Q&A every single week. So at this point in time, you now have the roadmap on how to go and the daily routine from the 0K a month level to the 100K a month level. And I think what's the most crucial part that I want you to understand from this video is understanding that businesses scale very predictably, and you have to hit one level to get to the next level. So think of a video game. You can't get to level 2 until you complete level 1, and I wish more people understood this. So there you have it. This is the simplest daily routine to get your coaching business from 0 to 100K a month. Regardless of whatever income level you're at, there are very specific steps that you need to get to each level. And if you're watching this video, whether you're at 10K a month, 25K a month, or you're trying to even hit your first 6-figure year, there are different stair steps to get to each coaching level, and I want to actually look at the inside of your business and give you your next steps from here. So if you check the link in the description, there's going to be an invitation for you to apply for a business audit call. Inside this call, we're going to actually diagnose the constraints and the bottlenecks at your current revenue level to get you to where you want to be. I'm going to leave you with a 90-day plan on exactly what to do next from here to scale your business. So go ahead, check out the application, and let's get on a call between either me or my team to actually help you scale your business to your next revenue level. And if you want to learn a little bit more before you jump on a call with me or my team, you can download my 7-day profit plan, which is another link you can find in the description, where you can actually learn exactly how to profit from your personal brand in the next 7 days. And there's one last tidbit before we go. Nothing about your business is ever going to be able to scale if you don't package your offer properly. That is the baseline foundation of everything you need to be successful in your business. So go ahead and watch this video next, because I'm going to explain exactly how to do that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.